Hello, 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 everybody. Oh my God, it is a new year, and this is my first wife chat of 2023. I pray that you had an amazing holiday season. I pray that you got before the Lord and asked him what would he have you to do in 2023. For me, he told me to simplify. He told me to believe for the impossible. And so I'm really excited about 2023. And I am so blessed that we have been doing this journey for 7 years now, called Wife Chat. And I don't know how many questions I have answered over the past 7 years. Thank you so much for joining me. Please do me a favor and put in the chat where you're joining me from. I would absolutely love to give you a shout out. Again, Happy New Year to you guys. Thank you so much for joining me for my first Wife Chat of 2023. I had the pleasure and the honor of just chilling out for the past couple of days during the holiday season. And so I am so grateful. Hello, Dee Dee. How are you from New York? Thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate you. Do me a favor and make sure you're hitting the share button and letting all my one sexy wives know that wife chat is going down. Again, please go in the chat and let me know where you're joining me from. I would love, love, love to give you a shout out. Hi, Auntie Five. I know where you calling me. It's tuning in from my Texas sister. I appreciate you. I appreciate you so much. And so again, I wanted to hop on here because I get asked a lot, and it's kind of crazy because I've been doing this, wow, for 20 years now. I can't believe it crossed over to 20 years doing what I do. I've been coaching and counseling marriages for the last, now 20 years. And then I became a licensed sexologist 10 years ago. Man, it seems like a long, long time ago. Good morning. Where are you joining me from to say good morning? I appreciate you. So you must be in another country for you to say good morning to me. Um, I don't know where, I guess that's China or somewhere. I don't know. I don't understand that writing, but good morning. Um, and so I wanted to come on here because I get ask a lot what makes me do what I do and how did I get started doing what I do. And so I wanted to start off 2023 just telling you guys really who I am and what made me start doing what I do and why I actually also started bringing sexy back to the marriage. And I'm going to make it very short, but I get asked that a lot. And actually, I just got asked this probably about 15 minutes before I got on here. A person came into my inbox and wanted to know, what made me pretty much tick. They also asked me to be on a podcast. So I'm going to answer a lot of those questions. The first thing is that I came from a line of amazing, when I say amazing, amazing, strong, strong women. Hello, how are you? R Mass Attack, New York. Happy New Year from Las Vegas. Thank you so much for joining me on my YouTube channel. I truly, truly appreciate you for watching me on my YouTube channel. You guys, thank you so much for joining me either on Facebook or my YouTube channel. I truly appreciate you guys. I don't take you for granted. So make sure you keep putting in the chat where you're joining me from. I would love to give you a shout out. I came from a long line of amazing women. However, there was a generational curse on all the women in my life except for one, because all the women in my family have been married at least once or twice. They all ended in divorce. And so I was raised by a group of women that told me I could do, and accomplish absolutely anything. And I did not need a man. So going into my marriage, When Gil met me, I was 21 years old. I was running a store and I was making $42,000 a year, which was a lot of money back then at age 21. And I had my own house, my own car. I was that independent woman. And I went into my marriage not seeing healthy relationships at all, right? My mom was a boss. My grandmother was a boss. She was the lead boss. She taught us all how to be bosses, right? And so I came into my marriage just being me, right? Hello, Gail. Hope you're having a great evening. I am. Thank you so much for joining me, Christian. I appreciate you so much. All the way, tell them where you joining me from. um Happy New Year to you as well. And so I came into my marriage just a boss, and that literally caused chaos because I was not going to bow down to anybody, right? Not even God himself. If that's, y'all can talk about me if you want to, but anytime Gil said go left, I was definitely going right. And with that, I had, later on in my life, I figured out that I had abandonment issues because I did not grow up with my biological father. I have an amazing, amazing father. That's the only father that I knew until I became older, that I realized that he was not my biological father. But there's no bond that can break us, because he met my mom when I was 3 weeks old, and the rest is history. But I also wanted to understand why my biological father was not a part of my life, and that is a whole different story. But anyway, I became very bitter, and I was a person that had a mouth that was off the chain. I could literally cut you with my words, right? And I used to fight all the time, and people who grew up with me, now they see me and they go, I can't believe, for one, somebody married you, and for two, that you still alive, and for three, you somebody mama. As crazy as I was, and people know I would turn it out. You step on my feet in a club or something, you getting bust upside the head. And all of those things led into my marriage, right? Gil and I was married less than 3 days. We were stationed in Jacksonville, North Carolina, because he used to be in the active duty military. And I went into the commissary, had just got my ID card, and I went upside the captain's wife's head for pushing my stuff off the off the conveyor belt in the commissary, and almost got arrested. Just out of control, right? Just out of control. Not only was I out of control before I met Gil, when I got married to him, that even escalated more because he was trying to be the man of the house, and I was not having that any kind of way. Okay. So, you know, he and I was like oil and water. On top of it, I developed a shopping addiction because I was not happy, right? So I thought things would make me happy. Years and years of shopping led to a financial crumble in my house. I had shopped us into $65,000 worth of unsecured debt. At the time, I was making 100 and some $1,000, and I was able to juggle the bills because Gil didn't handle the bills. So I was able to juggle the bills. He had no idea that we was in this kind of debt. On top of it, you know, he wanted me to, have a child. And I was like, okay, I knew the bills was a big thing because I had created credit cards in his name. He didn't even know. I had maxed out the ones in my name, and I was headed to maxing out the ones in his name. And then I'm like, okay, you want me to have a kid? I need to be working. And so I bargained, and I had Justin, right? but I only, the deal was staying home for 2 years. Y'all know I couldn't last 2 years because I had put us in a financial situation and I did not want Gil to know. So I stayed off of work like maybe 6 months, and then I started working part time because I needed to be able to handle and continue to pay the bills that I had created. Moving fast forward, my mouth was so out of control. I was so disrespectful. By the time Justin was 5 years old, I literally was going off on Gil and I cussed him out and I called him all kind of stuff. Prior to me doing this, I never had done that kind of behavior in front of my son. But this day I had lost it and I cussed him out and called him everything under the sun in front of my son. I went to work, still part time, came home from 5 p.m. to 10:30. Gil had cleaned out the whole entire apartment and only left my stuff there. I thought we had been robbed. When I looked around, and in the middle of the kitchen floor, there was a note with a plate, a fork, and a knife. And all it said was, if you can take half of what you dishing out, I'm not coming back until you say you're sorry and really mean it. Now, he had taken my son, and it still didn't click. I picked up the phone and I called my mom, and I was expecting one of the women that taught me how to be how I was to be on my side. And they said to me, my mother said, Gail, even iron wears out. I'm surprised he lasted this long. Now, I was not going to cuss my mama out because my mama would have used her credit card and came to Maryland. So I hung up the phone with her. I called some of my friends. They were like, you out of control. I don't understand. I don't blame him for leaving. Now, they got the business. But time after time, as I picked up the phone, I got people that I know love me, that I knew cared about me, telling me, Gail, you are out of control. You're disrespectful. And we can't believe he lasted this long. So my mama told me that. My good girlfriends who were married told me that. This was the kicker. I called one of my girlfriends who was a lawyer, and I asked her, I said, hey, Gilda took Justin, and I'm about to kill him. Still not taking credit that my behavior made him leave. Now I'm focusing in that he done stole my child. See how the mind work? I don't want to face my behavior. I'm now flipping the script saying he done stole my child. This is how you have to know that God places people in your life for a reason, right? And you have to understand if they're your true friends, they're going to tell you the truth. My good lawyer friend told me, she said, Gail, I'm going to come and support you, but I'm not filling out any paperwork on your behalf. She said, because you put yourself in this situation. She said, I said, well, I'm going to call the cops and tell them that they just stole my child. She said, I advise you not to do that, but okay. I called the police, told them that Gilda stole my child. The police came, and me being as crazy as I was, I went out there with a legal gun and set it on top of the police car. And I'm telling y'all the truth, because y'all asked me, how did I get here? How did I start doing what I did do to this day? I put the gun on top of the police car and told him, I'm going to kill Gil because he stole my child. Now, y'all know I had to be crazy to take a legal gun that was not registered nowhere and set it on a cop car and tell him I'm going to kill Gil if he don't bring me my baby back. The police officer had to know that I was crazy. God had to step inside this police officer because the man said, ma'am, I know this gun is not registered because it wasn't, because my brother, who was a straight up criminal, love him to death, but was a straight up criminal, had given me the gun and had, taken all the serial numbers and everything off the gun. It was clear that it was an undercover gun, right? And he said, so I know that you're distraught, but for one, I cannot put out any arrest warrants or anything for your son because y'all share that son. That is his son too, right, ma'am? I said, yes. He said, so you're going to have to go to court with that. He says, as far as this gun, I'm going to act like I haven't even seen it. He said, but I need for you to give me all the bullets out the gun. He said, and I'm going to not report that you have this illegal gun. He said, because really you should be going to jail, but I realize that you're not operating in your right mind. He says, but what I am going to do is I am going to suggest that you go get yourself a counselor because you have lost your mind. By this time, my girlfriend, who is a lawyer, pulls up. She talks to the police and she tells him, thank you so much. She shows him her credentials and she said she's going to get me into therapy. And she did. I went kicking and screaming because I was thinking I was not crazy, but I had lost it, right? And I went to therapy for 1 year. Gil and I stayed separated for a year while I went to therapy. And I had to deal with my anger issues, my abandonment issues, my issues that had absolutely nothing to do with him. They had all to do with Gail's childhood, how she was raised, how she thought. And I thought Gail was designed to make me happy, to fill all of those voids, and to do what I told him to do, like I seen the other men in my mother, my grandmother, my aunt's life. After I went to therapy, and I suggest therapy because there's nothing wrong with you going to therapy, getting help. If you have issues that are manifesting as an adult that you didn't deal with as a kid. Wow, my phone is tripping, but sis, that was beyond crazy. Yes, it was beyond crazy, Auntie Five. You're right. It was beyond crazy. But I'm telling you guys how I started doing the work that I do today because I recognize that God has placed me on this earth to do this work and to tell you ladies that are acting crazy the truth, right? The same way I am on here is the same way I am at home, okay? And so fast forward. At age 38, I was hit smack dab with menopause because I had a total hysterectomy. At 38, I didn't understand what was going on with my hormones. I had read that hormones give you cancer. I had read all of these disaster things. I'm too young to get on hormones. All of this stuff was going on with my body. So I got myself some therapy. So me and Gail, I apologize. We got back together. We're working things out. Not perfect because my mouth is still a lethal weapon. But I'm learning that I can't say everything that my brain is thinking when it came to Gail and my thoughts. Because I used to say, that's dumb, that's stupid, that's crazy, that's whatever, right? I understand what it is to push somebody away with my words and my mouth and my actions. I understand what it is for your husband to be in an emotional affair because you created that. Not saying that is right, but everything that he would try to talk to me about was stupid, dumb, and we ain't doing that. So at work, there was a woman that thought his ideas was amazing. She heard him out. She didn't stop listening to him. She let him finish his sentences. So an emotional affair happened. How did I take that? I went the hell off. I'm not gonna lie. And then I left. Because you ain't gonna cheat on me. Still not taking credit for my part in it. Was it right? Absolutely not. Did I go off? Absolutely. Did I do revenge? Absolutely. Because remember, I'm a boss. I'm a boss. We are all in need of patience first ourselves. This is the reason that so many of us men shut down. No excuses. That's you're 100% right. I had to take credit for me pushing my husband to an emotional affair because, like I say in all of my teaching, affairs just don't start in the bedroom. They start with a conversation. And he was not able to have a conversation with me because I was too busy trying to be his mother and not be his wife. Because being a wife and being a husband and being married does not come with any kind of manual. And trust me, the manual that was created in me was not a good manual to even try to follow if there was a manual. Yeah, Dee Dee, oh my God is right. That huzzy. No, that huzzy actually saved my marriage. That huzzy made me realize that I couldn't take Gil for granted, that I was not the only one that would be interested in him. Because I used to tell him, ain't nobody else gonna want you but me. I used to tell him that. I used to tell him that. I was just that confident. I used to tell him that all the time. Hello, Mr. Leo. Give us the definition of an emotional affair. Let me just tell you, emotional affair is when somebody engages in meaningful conversations and they get so deep where they begin to be connected in a way. And to me, an emotional affair is more intimate than a physical affair in most cases, because when you first started dating your spouse or first start dating someone, you have no filters, you have no walls up. So it's a give and take thing. And that's how you go from intimacy, and that is one of the deepest forms of intimacy, when you allow somebody in your emotional space where there's nothing missing, nothing lacking, there's no walls. You can be 100% authentic. You can be exactly who you're supposed to be. And that's the reason why I say for marriages, intimacy first, love is second, and sex is third. And if you build your marriage in that area, you can sustain anything, because intimacy is the most important element in a marriage. It is one of the most important things. And we always focus in on the sex piece. Prostitutes have sex all the time with no intimacy. The emotional part is what's hard. And we forget that. We forget the emotional intimacy part. Okay. I said that too. Hi, Lori. How are you, sweetie? How you doing? Thank you so much for hopping on. And so when I found out he had an emotional affair, of course I got pissed. I left, and then I had a physical affair, right? Just causing disaster after disaster after disaster, right? Because I'm not going to say I had poor communication skills. I did. because I was too busy talking at Gail and not talking to Gail. I'm talking about how I started doing the work that I do, right? Yes, we need a better sex intimacy begins in the mind. Okay. Hi, Gail. I'm good. I'm glad to hear that you're good. Okay. And so, as life began to happen and my body began to change, I was smack dab in menopause, having night sweats, mood swings, all of this stuff going on. Just crazy. I decided that I was going to do something about this because I realized I was not the only person that was dealing with this, because I've had the pleasure and the privilege to travel the world, some with the military and then some with the job that I had before I started doing this work. Okay. And I would go to different churches and I wanted for people to help me fix what was going on with Gil and I, because we could lift our hands on Sunday and then get back in the car. He don't say nothing to me, I don't say nothing to him, and we rinse and repeat because we know how to do church. We know how to act in church, blessed and highly favored, all of those things, but living a lie, financially devastated. I don't know whether I'm coming and going with my emotions. He trying to figure out how to make me happy, or if he can make me happy, because one day I'm feeling good and the next day I'm crazy. My children stuck somewhere in the middle and we just existing. But I had to realize, so then I like, well, let's go talk to the pastors. We go talk to them. The next Sunday, we hear sermon based on us, and they trying to act like they ain't talking about us. So did I get pissed? Absolutely. Because I'm like, they're a bunch of hypocrites. You tell me you want to help me, but then you preach about my situation over the pulpit and put me on blast. I know you're talking about me. Then I go to all these other churches, go to these women conference. They separate the married women and single married, tell us to cook, clean, and be submissive and all this. But I don't know if I'm coming or going. I'm not happy. Gil's not happy. We living a lie. We financially devastated and all this. This ain't working for me. So then I'm not going to church no more. Not cool. Talk that talk, Miss Gail. It may take a while. Oh my God, I can relate. Yes. Tamika, I'm sure you can. I agree. Vet women that choose before we give that title. You're right. Hi, Angie. How are you? And so it was just this chaos going on. And then I'm in smack dab in menopause because they took what I needed to balance me out. I'm not going to see no doctor because I'm not getting on no hormones, because I'm not getting the cancer. And it just became this thing, right? And I'm miserable, and Gil's trying to exist, and we just living in the house, miserable, broke, no poor communication skills. I'm frustrated, he frustrated, and then I'm like, I'm not sleeping with you because you ain't making me happy. Crazy. But in the interim, I'm opening it up and having conversations with women, and I realize I'm not the only one. And Gail used to always tell me, Gail, with that mouth, if you ever get the opportunity to be open and honest and talk about all the stuff that you put us through, not that he was perfect, right? He said, God is going to use you to touch the world with your mouth. And I say, shut up, whatever. I started bringing sexy back to the marriage from a conversation with a girlfriend that was so open and honest. And all she said was, all my husband wanted to do is just have sex. And I'm so tired because I got all of this stuff going on. That started an 8-hour conversation between myself and 3 other women. And we was so open and so transparent and was able to say stuff that we had never said to each other since we've been married, because we was afraid that people would judge us because we made it look good on Sundays. Why are we struggling? Why is it so hard for us to have sex with our husbands? Why is it so hard for us to submit to our husbands? Why are we in the financial devastation when we got 2 people working? Why don't we know how to handle our money, right? Why did he cheat on me? Why did I cheat on him? Why did we go to bed looking like we in war, but when we was dating him, we had the lace panties on and we did all of this stuff? Why? Why did our bodies change so much when we had children? Why? Why does he get on my nerves so bad when he opens his mouth and he just asking me, do I want something to drink? And it just irritates the hell out of me. Why? We had this conversation. And through it all, every time I went to pray, God was like, you need to create a safe place for women around the world to come and to really understand what is going on with them. And why do they feel the way that they feel, and not be judged, and not feel that if they have this conversation with the pastor, the deacon, the first lady, or whatever, it's going to end up on the pulpit next Sunday. Create that place. Create the safe place that women have a place to go to really understand what's going on with them. My first degree is in early childhood development. My second degree, I went back and became a family counselor, family and marriage counselor. Then I decided that so many women that were coming to my conference was struggling, just struggling to have sex. I was her. So then I went back to school and I was like, okay, I need to become a sexologist because I understand the need that a man needs to connect with his wife sexually. But I also understand being a woman and wearing all of these hats and hormone changes and hurt and trauma from childhood. Some women have been sexually abused. Some men have been sexually abused. The name calling, all of this stuff, body image issues. Sometimes you're fat, sometimes you're skinny, sometimes you feel pretty, sometimes you don't. All this emotional stuff that we have going on in our lives. And then social media saying big butts are in, little butts is in, big waist in, little waist is in, big titties in, little titties in. So you're trying to keep up. It's too much. So I wanted to be able to talk and have that part of it to really understand where our sexy went and how to get it back. And understand the hormones and the ebbs and flows of a woman, and understand how men tick, and understand if they pull away from us, it's not that they always cheating. They could be dealing with erectile dysfunction. They have hormone switches and changes just like we do, but they just don't talk about it the way we talk about it. All of these things. And then on top of it, I understand what it is to be in an absolute horrible marriage that Gail created. Not that Gail was a saint. Trust and believe me, he wasn't. But 99% of the stuff that went on in my marriage, Gail caused it. And I'm bold enough to say it. But I also understand what it is to roll up my sleeves and to fix it. Not perfect, but to fix it. And I also understand that I'm not good with money. And I had to relinquish control of that. I had to relinquish control of that. Now, remember, I'm a boss, right? But I had to realize Gil was better with money than I was. And in 3 years, say 3 years, we came out of $65,000 worth of unsecured debt because I had to relinquish the control of the money. Was that hard for me? Absolutely. Absolutely. But am I glad that I did? Absolutely, I am. Absolutely, I am. So I get on here and I do my YouTube stuff and I do my stuff here on Facebook and I hold my conferences and I hold my workshops because I understand not everybody's situation, but I understand what it is to be in an absolute horrible marriage, but I understand what it is to fix it. I understand what it is to use my vagina as a weapon, and I understand what it is to have amazing sex, right? I understand what it is to be a mama, an entrepreneur. I understand what it is to be sick. I understand what it is to be healed. I understand those things. Are we perfect? Absolutely. But the Crowders don't have a plan B. We don't. It's death to do us part. We don't have a plan B. Because I used to live on plan A, B, C, D, E, and F. Okay. And I used to tell him that on a regular. And now we could look back. He's like, gee, you used to be straight crazy. I'm still a tick crazy, but I can bring myself back. And I can realize that my words have power. And I realize that my words can either uplift or it can hurt. So wherever you are on this spectrum, I do what I do because I want to see you win. I do what I do because I understand what it is to be on the brink of divorce twice. And I'm not talking about just talking about it. I'm talking about lawyers involved, papers written, and we get there and we like, you know what? Can't do it. I'm not trying to learn nobody new. Gil ain't trying to learn nobody new. I get proposals from around the world. I'm not lying. And I show them too. I get proposals from around the world. Somebody sent me a 2-carat diamond ring. I'm not even lying, to my P.O. box with a proposal and a plane ticket. I'm not lying. I hit return to sender the ring. Told the guy he can get his ticket back because I'm not flying nowhere to marry nobody. I'm already married. So wherever you are, I do this because it's a passion of mine. I do this because I want to see you guys win. I do this because your marriage should be the biggest investment that you invest in every single day. Is it going to be perfect? Absolutely not. But we will save money. We will plan vacations. We will save money for the new iPhone that's coming out. We will save money. We will stand in line. We will do all that. But for your marriage, I ain't got it. I ain't got the time. I'm not trying to invest in it. I'm not trying to do it. But let that new iPhone come out. Let you want to go on vacation. I had a couple that told me, I can't afford you, Dr. Gail, but they calling me on their vacation because they didn't fix their problem and wanted me to fix their problem while they on vacation. I said, no, you can't afford me. You couldn't afford me before then. I can't afford to be on the phone with you trying to fix it on your vacation. You should have fixed it before you went there. I'm happy for you and your family at what you're doing. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. And I know my worth. but I also understand what it is to want therapy and can't afford it. Did y'all hear what I said? I understand what it is to want it and can't afford it. So for me, I said, whenever I started doing this, I'm going to make sure that I stay affordable for the ordinary person who really wants for their marriage to win and wants to work with me, that we'll make a way to make it happen. Because I want to see you guys win. God blesses me every single day. I am blessed every single day that I wake up and I do exactly what I love to do every single day. And what Gil sold into my life years ago has manifested, because I have clients all over the world. Because I'm open, I'm honest, and I don't try to act like I'm something that I'm not, because I can't. So the same way y'all see me on here is the same way I am in person. And most people are shocked that I answer my own phone. Do I have an amazing team of working behind with me? Absolutely. I can't do this all by myself. But I answer my own emails and I answer my own phone. I do. And for most of you guys who email me or inbox me on either YouTube or on here, I respond to my own stuff. And my team is like, why do you do that? Because the thing is that I said that I wanted to do this. When you guys call or email, y'all don't want an assistant. Y'all want me. And if I can manage my time, I can answer y'all questions as much as possible, right? I'm human, right? And I only practice what I teach. I practice what I teach. So I cook before I got on here. I cook Monday through Thursday at my house, unless I'm sick or traveling or something like that. I cook. And I would never tell another woman to do something I don't do. Period, point blank. She's telling the absolute truth. Thank you so much, Lori. I appreciate you. It takes two. Amen. It does, right? And so I am the people don't think I'm the same. I am the same way in person that I am on here. And so again, usually my wife chats are not this long, but I just wanted to tell you guys, I am real. This is what I love to do. This is my passion. And I would love, absolutely love. I think I have 15 more slots now left for my conference that is going to be in Baltimore. I would absolutely love to have you to come. It's called Wives Unleashed. I'm telling you, we're going to go there and it's going to be amazing. It really is. I love you guys to pieces. Thank you. So does Gil ever cook? Absolutely. Gil's an amazing cook, but that's the way I show my family that I love them. And that's the time that we get a chance to sit down. And I learn so much from my children, right? Because as you guys know, my children are grown, but I have my two nieces that I'm raising. So those are my girls, right? And so when we sit down as a family, I get a chance to hear all the stuff that's going on, that we don't, not even aware of from these teenagers. And then I get a chance to talk with my sons. And so, yes, Gil can cook to answer your question, but that is the way I show love, and that's the way we stay connected. You are so real. Thank you, Angie. I appreciate you. So yes, Gil can cook. He's an amazing cook, right? And I literally, y'all, I'm telling you, I've been sitting on a cookbook for like 4 years now. I'm really serious, and I'm going to get it across the finish line because I absolutely love to cook. I really do. I post some of the stuff on here, but I absolutely love to cook. I have been able to cook, like real cook. Like I like to really, really cook, not box cook, but no shade to that. But I really love to cook. And I've been cooking ever since I was a kid. So And you know, back in Texas, I used to win some competitions, like some baking competitions and stuff like that. But that's a whole different side of me. But I sometimes I use cooking as therapy just to calm down and unwind and you know, check out. So yes, Gil is an amazing cook, but you know, he likes his wife to cook too. So, and that's the way I show my family love, and that's the way we communicate and fellowship every single night. So again, I love you guys to pieces. Thank you so much for doing life with me, because you guys have been doing life with me, and I'm in the 7th year of doing wife chat. And again, that started because I was bored recovering from my surgery. I love you guys to pieces. I love you back, Lori. Thank you so much for rocking with me, coming to BSB, supporting me. I appreciate every last one of you guys on here. Thank you guys on my YouTube channel for helping me hit 12K in less than 2 years. That is amazing and a blessing. I appreciate you. And again, I love you guys. Thank you so much for allowing me to be me. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for sharing my videos. Thank you so much for everything. 2023 is going to be an amazing year, because with God, all things are possible. And He has already given me insight of where He's taken me. And it's going to be mind blowing. So, again, I love you guys. And if you need me, y'all know how to contact me. I see that somebody already contacted me and had a question. So, I'm going to answer that question. I'm going to get off here. I love you guys.